G'day ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Aussie Starcraft. We've been casting games from Dreamhack Winter. As you can see, the very cool Dreamhack opening sequence there. In the bottom center of Polar Night, it is our red Terran CMStormPolt. In the top center location, it is our blue Zerg STLife. Now, for those of you who don't know, this is from the Dreamhack group stages. It is game 3 from Polt versus Life, so they are one game each apiece. The winner of this will take the series and improve their chance at progressing into the later rounds of this tournament. Now, of course, both these players have had a great year. Life did very well, won IM New York against Naniwa in the finals there, and Polt, of course, I think everyone's familiar with Polt. He was the back-to-back WCS America champion as well as winner at MLG, so just a awesome 2013 from Polt, so he's been in great form here. We'll see how he's able to go against Life. The ZVT matchup has been affected a lot with the recent changes to things like the Widow Mine, so we'll see how that factors into these two players' gameplay. We see Polt walling up, getting his barracks in place at the ramp location. We have be interesting to see whether Life goes pool first or hatch first. On a map of this size, tend to see the hatch first opening. Very common against Terran players. Most Zerg players have learnt to deal with things like the annoying Reaper harass, that sort of thing. Gas is on the way for Polt, so we will likely see a quick Reaper out of him. Polar Night, actually a very interesting map, just while this game gets underway. For those of you who aren't as familiar with the map, Polar Night presents a challenge to pretty much every race in the fact that it is a large central base location. The reason why that's so significant is your base can be attacked from virtually every angle, particularly with air units. They can sweep around from almost any angle and attack. Things like siege tanks can be a threat from the low ground, and there's just dozens of ways for opposing players to try and ruin your day. So a large central base location is the hardest possible base location to defend. Unlike most maps where you sort of will have your main base tucked off to the side and then be able to defend an easy natural. Even the natural here does have a potential opening here at the back that can be blasted down. So very interesting map, easy for players to try and exploit the various facets of Polar Night. Spawning pool finishing up for Life, and Zergling speed just starting off there. I love the Dreamhack overlay where you can see what each building is producing. This Reaper actually able to just get that kill before Life could turn it into a spine crawler or a spore crawler. Life producing a few Zerglings to deal with this Reaper. Just need to hold it at bay until the Queens pop out. The Queens, of course, have the range attack, which make it a lot more feasible to try and deal with the Reaper. Polt just using that Reaper to try and stall while he builds his command center on the low ground for the nice quick mining that'll take place. Doesn't want to have to move it down from his main base, so always a little bit riskier. Life able to use a Queen to force these Reapers away. They're getting quite a bit of damage on that Queen at the moment. They're bringing his Queen down from the main base to ensure that these can't jump up and into the main. Going to try and focus those down as best he can. These Reapers, though, so important to keep in play for scouting. Terran players often left in the dark and forced to scan. Every scan you can save is 250 minerals that you would earn by having the mule. So it does cost a little bit of gas to get the Reapers, but it tends to pay itself back in dividends, particularly if you can keep them alive. So unable to do a lot of direct damage, but it's also the indirect savings that Reapers are just such good value for. Third base on the way now for Life, so it's quite a quick third base, particularly given most Terran do go for these 4 Hellions, so makes that third base just a little bit harder to hold on to, particularly harder to defend with these with the Hellions pressure. The Hellions often can't kill off the base, but they can kill just about anything that would try and defend it, things like your early Zerglings, Banelings, that sort of thing. Life producing a few extra queens here to help spread the creep and connect this base. See 2 queens already moving out towards it. Going to get that creep spread underway right away. Polt walling up is natural, just in fearless boss mode as he usually is. Actually have the Stargate reactor going down as well. This Marine going to be patrolling back and forward, try and prevent any Overlord scouting. You can see these Hellions here putting pressure on the base. 2 Reapers mixed in, though you can see that these units, while ideal for harassing, not ideal for killing structures, they are going to reduce this hatchery to almost half health, which will make it more susceptible to snipes and things like that, which definitely becomes a factor, particularly when the Terran puts on multi-prong aggression. And as you guys are probably familiar with, no one does multi-prong aggression like Polt does. So could well see multi-prong drops as well as his main force moving out and putting a lot of pressure on Life later on in this game. 1-1 upgrades on the way for Life, and finishing that wall in with his Roach Warren. Polt here continuing to expand his production. They're still only on 2 barracks, which is surprising at this stage of the game. Normally you'd expect the Terran to have his 3rd barracks on the way. Factory here going to be producing a few Widow Mines. Obviously Polt not feeling hindered by the patch is going to be going for some Widow Mines. This Viking's going to clean up a few Overlords and deny the Zerg some vision. The 2nd Overlord's going to be forced to move in or face a similar fate. You can see this Viking is rallied around the map, though it looks like he may actually go the other way and save this Viking the effort. You can see these interesting waypoints just designed to pick off as many Overlords as possible. Polt continuing to move out with these units, try and harass Life, but Life has an incredible amount of queens on the map. Actually up to 7 queens, so 7 queens at the 9-minute mark. Not a bad amount by any stretch. Going to be able to defend this large open region between his 2 bases. Also going to be able to transfuse his hatchery if it becomes an issue. So interesting choice out of Life, but I gotta say I agree with it in this circumstance. Doing a great job of protecting his base. Going to get some more creep join these 2 bases, so his force isn't quite as slow. Ooh, units being unloaded here on the high ground from these medevacs, but these Queens were able to spot it and get in position to defend it. Queen's going to be able to pick off these medevacs if they're not careful. These Marines and Marauders may well be left to their fate. Oh, quick pick up there is just going to be able to save these units. Overlord, they're likely the one that caught the medevacs moving in the first place. They're going to be able to pick off the Overlord, which is always a nice little bit of karmic vengeance. Zergling's going to get quite a quick surround on Polt here, so Life just in great form in the game so far. Almost dead even at the moment. 1100 resources lost each. Production tabs are fairly lively for both our players. A lot of upgrades on the way, +1 weapons and combat shields on the way for Polt. Life getting his +2 melee attack, so showing for the foreseeable future we will be seeing this Zergling Baneling sort of defense out of Life, though with the Spire almost finished up now. I imagine we'll see a bevy of Mulus. No gas stored up as of yet though, so likely going to be just a little bit before Life's able to produce those mutas in any significant quantity. As we can see from the income tab, he's only mining about 600 gas a minute, so it's a maximum of 5 or 6 mutas a minute, and a lot of that gas also going into things like these 2-2 upgrades. So we'll see if and when Life decides to produce those mulas. So we do have a decent bioforce pushing out here from Polt. Polt's just so good at putting on consistent pressure, even with small groups of units. You can see this force getting surrounded here, but nice pick up from Polt. They're able to save a significant proportion of those units. Unfortunately unable to pick off that stray Baneling, though he may well grab a couple of these Queens. Doesn't want to get on too far into this creep. That will allow the Zerg player to wrap around and nail these Marauders. Marauders going to soak up a lot of the Baneling shots. The Marines falling back and sniping those Banelings on the way through. Nice control out of Polt, able to pick off each of those Banelings in turn and keep most of his units alive. Going to pick up the remainder of those Marines. One unlucky Marine ending life just a little bit early. The second Marine going down at the watchtower. Polt now getting his third base established and underway. Lots of mining going on. Mule there, almost almost saturated to an optimal point now. We have Polt's production now in full swing at 5 barracks here, 4 with a reactor, 1 with a tech lab, so 8 or 9 marines at a time, with the option to chunk out a marauder or 2. Lots of medevacs underway. They have a large Zergling counterattack coming down from Life, swinging down the left-hand side of the map. So Polt may well be caught out of position here. Not a whole lot of troops left defending. If this, particularly if these bunkers are caught down, this could be a massive counterattack. Polt's going to catch that swing and saw it with it, able to raise it just in the nick of time. Though these bunkers are in fact empty, so able to do a bit of damage with these Zerglings, but the Marines and Marauders able to make it back just in time. A big force being caught here in the middle of the map from Polt. Even a siege tank on the way for Polt. So looks like quite a few players are electing to go for a siege tank to add to the defensive mix. The Widow Mine's no longer the sole answer to Zerg players, and until the patch we did see most Zerg players, particularly most Terran players against the Zerg matchup, relying on Marine Marauder Mine, but it looks like in a post-patch environment we are starting to see a return to the good old-fashioned siege tank. So, nice connections on those banelings, able to tidy up almost all of these Marines and Marauders. So we have a supply difference here, it's 176 to 144, so Life continuing to macro up well behind us. 50 Zerglings on the way at a time. It's going to be a literal swarm flooding out of the Zerg bases. Quite a few Mutalisks on the way, this cloud continuing to grow. I'd like to see Life get active with these and harass the base. Not a lot of actual anti-air in place to defend this, so if he can spare them on the defense for just a moment, he'll be able to inflict quite a lot of damage at Polt's base. So we'll see what he's able to accomplish. These Marines and Marauders are starting to wear away at the Zerg defenses. We have a massive counterattack force here positioned to the side, ready to wrap around, but this force at the front here just consistently make itself a pick. Nice, these Mulists able to pick off those 2 medevacs, always great pick up. This Zerg force swinging from the side, able to pick off the siege tanks and a lot of those Widow Mines. If we check out the units lost tab, we do in fact have Life has lost quite a few units. Polt muling in spite of the fact the Zerg force is sweeping in, so these mules unfortunately not going to do anything. Just a bit premature from Polt there, and that could cost him a significant amount of income. Not every day you see a Polt make a mistake of that sort of magnitude. That's 5 or 6 mules there. Unfortunately, obviously thought he'd be able to hold the base, but it looks like Life's just going to power through the front door, pick off the bunkers, and Polt GG's out of that game. So great game from Life. They're able to take the 2-1 victory over Polt and send himself through to the next stage of this tournament. Polt, of course, will drop through into the losers bracket and compete from there. So hope you guys are enjoying these games here on Aussie StarCraft. We will be casting a lot of Dreamhack Winter over the coming months. I know a lot of parts of the world, not Australia, but other parts of the world, is winter and Christmas time. So nice to have a tournament theme to this point in time in the year. So I hope you guys are enjoying it. We'll be uploading 2 or 3 games a day, so stay tuned. You could always subscribe for regular updates from us, and by all means go ahead and share the games with your friends on Facebook and Twitter, and let's get some more people involved in StarCraft 2. Thanks guys, we'll catch you all in the next cast.